efficient, lethal, clean, now also inventive, because there was one little facet in Argentina's 2-0 victory over Australia that ends up being sometimes maybe even overlooked by many, and it was the fact that as a second forward you had Alexis McAllister. Maybe a new position for him, or maybe it's just a necessity. Remember, Julian Alvarez came to camp late. He had just flown in after winning the Champions League with Manchester City. Lautaro Martinez was going to be out after being after playing the Champions League final, and then of course we already knew that he was going to be undergoing treatment for his ankle. So right there off the bat, there were 2 absences. So it was interesting to see that first and foremost. Let's get that out of the way. And seeing McAllister play in that position ends up being kind of an interesting experiment of sorts that ends up being a viable tactical variation in the event that you do have players like Alvarez and like Martinez missing going into World Cup qualifying play. Overall, Argentina played well. Overall, Argentina are beginning to take things a little more seriously, because they already know that they can't sleep on their laurels. They can't continue to celebrate forever what they won in Qatar. They can't be playing and being in a celebratory mood. The fans can. The fans can go and enjoy what has been the World Cup run, and everything that happened. They can continue celebrating that from until infinity. Now, what ends up happening is that the players know that there is a major moment coming in the next few months, which is World Cup qualifying play. So that's basically the defense of the World Cup, especially for these younger players. For this group of younger players, that defense of the World Cup ends up marking yet another chapter in their legacy, and they want to be able to etch their own pages. They want to blaze their own trail when it comes to the national team. Let's not kid ourselves one bit. It's not that the 20, 25, 29-year-olds on the national team end up saying, you know what, nah, we already won a World Cup, we're good. No, that's not the case. Far from it, as a matter of fact. And when you start looking at what Argentina has been able to do, well, you end up seeing a different mentality from these players. And you saw it today against Australia. Very rugged, first half especially. Let's look at the first half. First and foremost, Australia comes in, and you see it by the ilk of the opponent. Australia, who was basically the team that gave them the most fits in the World Cup. You can argue France, and it's valid. You can argue the Dutch, and it's valid too. You can even argue with Mexico. Maybe many will start saying, hey, what about Saudi? Saudi beat them, and yeah, you'd be right too. But if you look at that match against Australia, look at how complicated the game was, how bumpy and how lacking in rhythm Argentina happened to be in that entire match. So they did give them fits, and they gave them fits today, despite having a brilliant goal from Leo Messi. He scores this in the first minute. That was the fastest goal of his career. That was amazing. This an amazing stat there that ends up being brought in. Not only the fastest goal with the Argentine national team, the fastest goal in his career at 70, I think it was 79 seconds or something like that. But that was the fastest goal he scored in his career. Messi played well. Australia knew that they couldn't focus solely on him, and they couldn't go crazy on him, because there was one play, I think you remember, when he ends up taking out 4 defenders in one clean swoop in one play, slaloms past all 4 of them, and ends up sending a pass, I think it was to Garnacho, and Garnacho just couldn't handle it. But overall, that play ends up being a testament to football. Many just looked at that play, and you see it on social media as well, and it's quite the viral image that you were going to be able to see for the next couple of days. Argentina played well. Dibu Martinez was timely. Yeah, big club goalkeeper. You've heard that saying that the small club goalkeepers have 20 shots and let one in, but yet the big club goalkeepers only need 2, and they have to save those 2 in order for them to prove to everyone that they had a big match. Well, that's Dibu Martinez in that particular case. Pizzella comes in the second half, has a good game. Alejandro Garnacho. Let's talk about Alejandro Garnacho real quick. Garnacho seemed that he wanted to do a lot, maybe too much, and at 18 needs to pump the brakes a little bit. Now, it's not. I'm not saying this in a negative fashion. I think that's great that he wants to come in and contribute, from the onset. I think that's great that at 18 he has the mentality that he is capable, that he knows he's capable of playing alongside the players that he's playing with at the national team. Obviously, playing at Manchester United and being a starter at Manchester United helps a great deal. but at times it looked like he was, while Argentina were in third or fourth gear, kind of not even, they were even cruising at a certain point. Garnacho was in sixth or seventh gear, trying to go even faster, and sometimes going too fast is maybe too detrimental for certain contexts and certain matches. He still has time. They still want to carry him into this process a little bit more, and that's where he has to understand that Leo Scaloni is going to hold him off a little bit, is going to bring him in little by little. Maybe in the match against Indonesia, he's going to get significant minutes, most likely, because there's going to be a lot of players that are going to be gone. Messi being one of them. He's going to go straight to vacation. Now, what he said about the World Cup kind of clarifies a lot of things. Many were saying, "Oh, he's done." You know, maybe he talked about it. He talked to us in Qatar about maybe that being his last dance. But he's taking it prudently. He's saying, "Look, I'm going to go step by step. I don't know how I am going to be in 6 months, how I'm going to be in a year." It's a process, and he has to see, and he has to feel it, and he has to go and analyze it himself in terms of what he wants to do going forward. Yeah, maybe this year he feels fine, but he'll be 36 next week. How is he going to be feeling? Is he going to be motivated? Is he going to be motivated first and foremost? Does he feel like he can physically compete at the level that he's going to be dependent upon? No, it's going to be a different Messi. It's not going to be a player that's going to be able to consistently for 90 minutes run. No, he's going to stand, he's going to look around, he's going to be able to get past 3 or 4 defenders, as he tends to do. And the closer to goal you have him, the better. But he's going to let the young guys run. He's going to let Julian Alvarez and Enzo Fernandez and McAllister and everybody else that's around him do the running. And then, of course, he ends up doing the more precise work. Everyone shine. Everyone do their thing. Everybody perform at the top level. I'm the cherry on top. That's what it's been. He's been the cherry on top. He's been that accelerator fuel you add to gasoline. So that's what he's going to be doing. But overall, I like the match. The Socceroos played well. They competed, and it's a team that shows that they're serious. Look, I'll be honest with you. The Socceroos, obviously, they consistently are now qualifying out of Asia. But they could easily be qualifying out of North America, easily qualifying out of North America, and they could have a chance to qualify out of South America too. I see this team. It's a very well coached team. It's a very solid team. No incredible superstars, but overall from top to bottom, a team that is very solid, and a team that's very consistent, and a team that understands how they know how to play. So they picked a very good opponent. Now it's time to relax, as there will be Indonesia. The next match they'll play in Jakarta on Monday to end their June FIFA window. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. But for the most part, I have to say that I'm rather impressed with Argentina, as now they start focusing on what comes in September, October, and November as the beginning of the World Cup qualifiers begin. And it's going to be a very long road. We'll see what twists and turns end up happening during that time. All right, guys, talk to you soon. Ciao.